Hello everyone. Welcome back to Yongsam Tube. Today we're moving on to Chapter 2, the organization of a human body. Have you ever wondered how our body is built? It's not just one big lump. It has a very sophisticated hierarchy. We start from tiny cells, which group together to form tissues. These tissues then create organs, and organs work together as a system. Understanding this step-by-step structure is the key to mastering anatomy. Are you ready to dive into the world of cells and tissues with me? Let's get started. Let's look at how our body is organized in 4 essential steps. First, the cellular level. The cell is the basic unit of life. Remember, our body has about 60 trillion cells. Second, the tissue level. Similar cells gather to form a tissue, like the muscle tissue you see here. Third, the organ level. Different tissues work together to create an organ with a unique function, such as the stomach. Fourth, the system level. Related organs team up for a common goal. For example, the stomach and intestines form the digestive system. Finally, these systems work together to form the entire human body. Amazing, right? Now, let's look at the basic structure of the cell, the fundamental building block of our body. Think of it as a tiny, living city. To understand how our body functions, we must first explore this microscopic world and the essential components that keep the city running. First, the nucleus. This is the control center of the cell. Most importantly, it contains DNA, our genetic blueprint that carries all the information for life. Next is the cell membrane, made of a lipid bilayer. Its key feature is selective permeability. It's like a smart gatekeeper, but this gatekeeping happens because of its chemical nature. How does it work? Imagine the membrane is a VIP club gate. In this club, being fat-friendly is your VIP pass. Because the membrane is made of lipids, other fat-friendly molecules or very tiny ones like oxygen can just slide right through the bilayer without any help. But what about glucose or ions? They don't have that fat-friendly pass. They are like guests who can't push through the wall. They must find a special door, which we call a protein channel or transporter. So, the membrane doesn't think to select. Rather, its structure naturally allows nutrients in and keeps harmful substances out. This is how it maintains the perfect environment inside the cell. The space inside the cell membrane is the cytoplasm. It's filled with a jelly-like fluid called cytosol, where all the cellular activities happen. Inside the cytoplasm, we have cell organelles. These are like small organs within the cell, such as mitochondria, lysosomes, and the Golgi apparatus. We will study these in much more detail on the next page, so stay tuned. Finally, the cytoskeleton. Just like our bones, this is a network of protein fibers that maintains the cell's shape and helps with movement. Now, let's look at the cell organelles. These are like small organs inside the cell. Here are the 5 essential organelles you must remember. First, the mitochondria. We call it the powerhouse of the cell. It produces ATP energy through cellular respiration. Think of it as the battery that keeps the cell running. Second, the ribosome. This is the protein factory. It's the site where proteins are synthesized using our genetic information. Third, the endoplasmic reticulum, or ER. There are 2 types, the rough ER and smooth ER. The rough ER is studded with ribosomes and helps synthesize and transport proteins. The smooth ER has no ribosomes. It synthesizes lipids and detoxifies substances. Fourth, the Golgi apparatus. Think of it as the post office of the cell. It modifies, sorts, and packages proteins to be sent out, secretion. Finally, the lysosome. This is the recycling center, or digestive bag. It contains digestive enzymes that break down waste and foreign substances to keep the cell clean. So, what defines a tissue? It's more than just a cluster of cells. It's a functional unit where cells collaborate. Interestingly, not all tissues look the same. Some are dense with cells, while others rely on a matrix or fibers to hold everything together. In our body, there are 4 primary types of tissues you must remember. Let's go through them one by one. First, epithelial tissue. Think of it as a protective wrap. It covers the outer surface of your body and lines the inside of your organs and body cavities. Second, connective tissue. Its job is right in the name. It binds and supports. It connects different tissues and organs, acting like the glue and framework of our body. Third, muscular tissue. This tissue is all about movement. It generates force to move our limbs and internal organs, and it also helps us maintain our posture. Finally, nervous tissue. This is the communication network. It receives and transmits electrochemical signals throughout the body. It also provides nutrients and support to our neurons. So, remember these 4: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. These are the building blocks of every organ in our body. What is the very first line of defense for our body? Today, we begin our journey with the front line, epithelial tissue. By definition, epithelial tissue is a group of cells that covers the outer surfaces of our body and lines the inner surfaces of our organs. You can find it at the boundaries between the internal and external environments. Think of it as the front line that meets the outside world. Because it sits at the boundaries, it performs several crucial roles. First, protection. It acts as a barrier to protect our body from physical or chemical damage. Second, absorption. In places like the intestines, it takes in necessary nutrients. Third, sensation. It also helps us sense the environment through specialized receptors. Understanding epithelial tissues is the foundation for mastering human anatomy. To understand organ characteristics and how diseases develop in each system, you must first understand the epithelium that lines them. Now, let's look at the 4 major types of covering epithelium based on their shape and layers. First, we have the simple squamous epithelium. Because it's a single layer of flat cells, it's perfect for rapid diffusion and filtration. You can find it in areas where gas or fluid exchange is critical, such as blood vessels, alveoli in the lungs, and the loop of Henle. Second is the stratified squamous epithelium. Unlike the simple type, this has multiple layers, providing strong protection against abrasion and infection. This is why it covers our body surface, skin, oral cavity, esophagus, and vagina. Third, the simple columnar epithelium. These tall, column-like cells are specialized for absorption and secretion. They line our digestive tract from the stomach to the intestines and the endometrium of the uterus. Finally, the transitional epithelium. Its unique feature is that it changes shape as an organ stretches or expands. It is found in the ureters and urinary bladder, allowing these organs to distend and relax effectively. Building on our discussion of epithelium, we'll now explore connective tissue, which serves as the essential support system for our organs. Unlike epithelial tissue, which is packed with cells, connective tissue is mostly made of extracellular matrix and fibers. Also, it's generally rich in blood supply, making it great at healing itself. There are 4 main things this tissue does. 1. Binding. It connects tissues and organs together, like tendons and ligaments. 2. Support. It provides a structural framework, like our bones and cartilage. 3. Protection. It cushions our organs and provides insulation through adipose, or fat tissue. 4. Transport. It moves nutrients and waste through the blood. From loose tissue under your skin to specialized types like bone, cartilage, and even blood, connective tissue is the most diverse and widespread tissue in your body. Having explored the body's framework through connective tissue, we now turn to the engine that drives us, muscular tissue. While the framework provides support, this tissue is what actually powers our every movement. First, let's define its role. Muscular tissue is the movement generator. It generates the force needed to move our limbs, and even our internal organs. But it's not just about movement. It also plays a vital role in posture maintenance, helping us stay upright against gravity. So, how does it move? It all happens through a contraction mechanism. Inside the muscle, there are 2 key contractile filaments, the thin actin and the thick myosin. This process is carefully regulated by calcium ions. Think of calcium as the on switch that triggers the contraction apparatus. Depending on its structure and where it's located, muscular tissue is divided into 3 types. 1. Skeletal muscle. These are attached to your bones and are responsible for voluntary movement, the movements you consciously control. 2. Cardiac muscle. Found only in the heart, it works tirelessly to pump blood throughout the entire body. 3. Smooth muscle. Located in the walls of internal organs like the stomach and intestines. It handles involuntary movement, meaning it works automatically without us thinking about it. In the next slide, we'll compare the key features of skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle. This is a very important section, so please stay focused. Now, let's compare the 3 types of muscle tissue in our body. Take a look at these 3 distinct images. Do you see the structural differences? We're going to compare skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle to see how their unique forms match their functions. On the left, we have skeletal muscle. Notice the long, cylindrical fibers with many nuclei. We call this multinucleate. You can also see clear stripes called striations. As the name suggests, these are attached to our skeleton and allow for voluntary movement, meaning we can control them consciously. In the middle is the cardiac muscle, found only in the heart wall. Like skeletal muscle, it has striations, but look closely. The cells are branched and connected by special junctions called intercalated discs. These discs allow the heart to beat as one single unit. Unlike skeletal muscle, this is involuntary. It pumps blood automatically. Finally, on the right, we have smooth muscle. These cells are spindle-shaped and, most importantly, they have no striations. That's why we call them smooth. They are found in the walls of hollow organs like the stomach and intestines. They work involuntarily to handle tasks like moving food through your digestive tract, a process called peristalsis. To summarize, remember, skeletal is for body movement and is voluntary. Cardiac is for pumping blood and is involuntary. And smooth is for organ functions and is also involuntary. Master this table and you'll master the muscular system. After exploring the engines of our body, it's time to meet the master controller. Let's dive into our final primary tissue, nervous tissue. Nervous tissue functions as our body's communication network. It receives and transmits electrochemical signals from head to toe. It's not just about sending messages, though. It also includes a support system that provides the structural framework and nutrients needed for everything to run smoothly. Now, look at the diagram on the right. This is the neuron, the messenger and fundamental unit of the nervous system. It has a very unique shape, right? Let's break down its key structures. Dendrites. These look like tree branches. Their job is to receive incoming signals from other cells. Axon. This is the long, tail-like structure. It transmits electrical impulses away from the cell body to reach other neurons or muscles. As you can see in the image, the axon is often wrapped in a protective layer, the myelin sheath, which helps signals travel even faster. We'll talk more about the helpers behind this process, the glial cells, in the next section. We've met the stars of the nervous system, the neurons. But even the best stars need a great supporting cast. Let's talk about the supporting cast of our nerves, glial cells. Glial cells might not send signals themselves, but they are essential. Their primary roles are to protect, support, and insulate our neurons. Without them, our nervous system would literally fall apart. As you can see on the screen, we categorize these helpers based on where they work, the central nervous system, CNS, or the peripheral nervous system, PNS. 1. Central nervous system, CNS. Astrocytes. These are the star-shaped cells you see in green. They are the supply managers, providing nutrients and maintaining the crucial blood-brain barrier. Microglia. These small orange cells act as the immune defense, patrolling for any invaders or debris. Oligodendrocytes. These are vital for speed. They form myelin sheaths, which act like electrical insulation to ensure faster signal conduction. 2. Peripheral nervous system, PNS. Schwann cells. These are the PNS version of oligodendrocytes. They do the same job but in different locations. Schwann cells wrap around axons to form myelin sheaths in our limbs and organs. Satellite cells. Finally, we have satellite cells, which surround and protect the neuron cell bodies in the PNS. We've learned about individual tissues, but how do they actually work together? Today, we're stepping up to the next level, the organ. By definition, an organ is a unique structure formed by integrating several types of tissues to perform a specific function. Think of your liver, heart, or stomach. Each is a specialized machine made of multiple tissue parts. First, let's look at hollow organs. These are organs with an internal cavity like your digestive tract. As you can see in Figure 2.21, they are typically structured in 3 main layers. This is the innermost layer. It's actually quite complex, consisting of 4 sublayers: the epithelium, lamina propria, muscularis mucosae, and the submucosa. It's the primary interface where action happens inside the organ. Next is the engine of the organ. In most cases, it has 2 layers, an inner circular and an outer longitudinal smooth muscle layer. This structure allows the organ to contract and move contents along. Quick tip: remember that the stomach is an exception. It actually has 3 layers for extra mixing power. Finally, we have the outermost layer. Depending on the location, it's either a fibrous adventitia or a thin serous membrane that protects and anchors the organ in place. Now that we've explored hollow organs, let's turn our attention to the second type, solid organs. Unlike hollow organs, these are dense, solid structures. Think of the liver, kidneys, lungs, or even endocrine glands. While they may look different on the outside, they all share a common internal organization consisting of 2 main parts, the parenchyma and the stroma. Take a look at Figure 2.22. It perfectly illustrates how these 2 components work together. First, the parenchyma. This is the functional tissue. It consists of the cells that actually perform the organ's specific tasks, like the filtering cells in the kidney or the secreting cells in a gland. In the diagram, these are the clustered units performing the main work. Next, the stroma. If the parenchyma is the worker, the stroma is the supportive framework. It's the connective tissue that holds everything together. It includes the septa that divide the organ into sections, as well as the blood vessels and nerves that keep the parenchyma alive and communicating. So, remember, parenchyma is for function and stroma is for support. Understanding this balance is key to knowing how solid organs maintain their complex activities. Great job today, everyone! Let's wrap up with a quick recap of our journey. Cell, the smallest living unit. Tissue, groups of cells working together. Organ, tissues integrated for a specific task. System, organs coordinating to keep us alive. Understanding this hierarchy is the foundation of everything we'll learn next. Take a moment to review, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Experience the power of Korean-style medical learning. You've got this.